that from? The tap. So lovely and wet. Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. I hope you're all doing really well. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news on a big day. Because we are playing Brighton today, as we know. I've also got my Champions League going for the treble thing on Mark Goldbridge. That's football this afternoon if you want to watch that. But lots to talk about as per usual. We're going to start off with Jack Grealish. Transfer offer for Jack Grealish, which is somewhat interesting. We'll also be talking about Van der Beek, Angel Gomes, Bruno Fernandes, a few other things, and a very, very strong statement from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that I'm going to start off with. We're always looking to improve. Players know if they don't improve, we might have to look somewhere else to get better because we have to get better. We're too far away from where we need to be. I love that statement from Solskjaer. We're too far away from where we need to be. Not every manager needs to say that. You know, Mourinho would say second place is the best thing I've ever achieved at United. So, look, Ollie knows where we need to be. I think that's really good. But look, let's start off with Jack Grealish and a new transfer offer coming in from Manchester City. Now, isn't it always interesting on Grealish? For a lot of the time over the last few months, Manchester United fans, the United Stand community in general, have been discussing about quadruple mark, not treble, says Sartak. You're right. Manchester United fans have sort of been, I wouldn't say divided. I think most of us would like Grealish to come to the club, but there is certainly that discussion of, oh, I'd like a Van der Beek, or I'd like a Maddison. Do we really need a Grealish? And then suddenly, Man City enter the equation and everyone's going, oh my God, we better get this deal done. And it would be somewhat typical of Manchester United and us as a fan base if we don't get Grealish because he goes to Man City and we're sat there going, oh, I really wish we'd got Grealish. We were in for him and we've messed it up again. But I think it shows to me, look, I know Grealish wants to come to Manchester United and I know that Manchester United are seriously considering going in for Grealish. I'm not saying we're going to sign him, but seriously considering going in for Jack Grealish. And I think that this only heightens the reason why. I mean, for me, the Norwich game was the final sort of push in the direction of, look, if we're not going to get a Van der Beek and we're not going to get a Havertz and we're not going to get whatever other midfield we're linked to, we do need to come out with Jack Grealish because that Norwich game, and we're going to talk about Gomes and Lingard and Pereira in a moment, but that emphasises exactly the point that we do need depth in the team. I said it on the preview last night. If Bruno or Pogba come off tonight, who comes on with the creativity? You're relying on Lingard, Pereira, Mata, players that have let us down continually over the last 2 years. We need better players on that on that bench. And Jack Grealish, to me, look, may not be a bench player. Maybe he forces himself into the team, but he's certainly a very, very good target for United to be looking at, and especially if you followed his career over the last couple of years and what he's achieved in a team where he is the star, where there isn't anybody else his equal, where every other opposition kick and swamp him, and he still managed to develop his career and produce, you know, the results. Chris, not in relation to the team, but him personally. Chris Barnes, UK, welcome to the club, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for that. But what it also does for United as well is just add a little bit of concern if you really do want Grealish, because if Man City want him, it's another club going for a player that we want that we could easily lose out to, as we know. And I hope Man City are in for Grealish. And the story's coming from The Independent. I've read it in The Guardian. And a lot of people are picking it up now. And basically Man City, well, Pep, before the League Cup final in February, said he's a massive fan of Grealish. And I think that with Sane going, he may be looking at just getting a little bit more depth in that midfield area. With David Silva going, obviously they've got Foden coming through, but Grealish could give them options, much like he would give us options. And if Man City go in for Pep, part of me is quite encouraged by that, because United need to start winning transfer races when other clubs want them. I mean, in recent times, we've not been very good at it. Haaland obviously went to Dortmund. Bellingham looks like he's going to Dortmund. And Wan-Bissaka, Dan James, Harry Maguire and Bruno, we had a clear run at. You know, that's why we spent so long negotiating the price, because nobody else was competing with us. So if we have got competition for Grealish, I think it's a good thing. What we can't do is lose the race again. I mean, I was talking about this yesterday, and some people just don't want to accept it, and that's fine. It's your opinion. I've got no issue with the fact that, you know, maybe United didn't want Haaland for a release clause, or Bellingham thought he'd get more game time at Dortmund, and Gomes wants to go for more game time. I get that. I absolutely get that. But I don't think it's an excuse, because that's a decision by those players and by our club. Tell me where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't want those players. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about my manager getting what he wants. There may be excuses as to why he doesn't get them, But ultimately, I want my manager to get what he wants, because if he's not getting what he wants, he's having to deal with second and third choices, which is always an excuse. It always is. Only good game Jesse had played this season was City away, and only good game Andreas has played might have been Liverpool at home. Will you do player ratings, says Ewan. I always do player ratings after the match, yes. So Man City didn't want Harry Maguire, Sasuka. They didn't enter the race at all. They pulled out very, very early. So don't spread bullshit, because that's not right. Man City were not in the race for Harry Maguire. There was no bidding war for Harry Maguire. We negotiated on our own for Harry Maguire, and hence that's why we ended up getting him eventually. Same with Wan-Bissaka, same with Bruno Fernandes. There was never any other team in it. Barcelona apparently at the end, that was a load of rubbish. That was not true. So, Grealish, Man City, maybe there's something in that, maybe there's not, but hopefully it causes Manchester United to pull their finger out and do a deal for him, because I think that the only other player I would look at if we're not going to get Grealish would be Van der Beek. Ajax coming out on the weekend, and obviously they're not playing football at the moment, and they've said they've got an agreement in place with the player. And there's two other players they've got it with. I know the goalkeeper Onana and somebody else within the team as well. I forget their name. But effectively what Ajax are saying is, look, we've got an agreement with Van der Beek that he can leave if we get the right price. Probably the same as what Dortmund have got with Sancho. But they don't know what's going to happen in the market. Obviously, a few weeks ago now, Manchester United were really in for Van der Beek. It was the big PR spin story of that time. And as I said at the time, I don't believe it. I don't think it's true at all. But Real Madrid apparently not in for him anymore, although they're now looking at somebody else, because I don't know. I don't know what the story is with Van der Beek. And to be honest with you, it's a tough choice to go with who you want to go with between Van der Beek and Grealish. But I think as long as we get one of them, I would be happy. I probably still would prefer Van der Beek for different reasons. Age, ability, and I think he's got more of a ceiling in relation to what he becomes, but maybe Grealish suits us better, I don't know. We need to have high standards even with good form, says Ishmael. Exactly. I think that when in life, especially in football, the best time to be critical in relation to your involvement as a football club is when you're winning. Sir Alex Ferguson was a master at it. It's all very easy to make changes and make big statements when you're not where you need to be and be driven to do that. But when you actually achieve something, to then take the win but also go, right, we go again. Sir Alex Ferguson was a master of that. And I think, look, all we've done is beat Sheffield United and go on a 14-game unbeaten run. That is good, but we want to win titles. We want to be in the Champions League. And that we've got to continually assess ourselves. And that's why, just going quickly back to what I said before, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said yesterday, we've got to get better. We're too far away from where we need to be. I like those statements because they're obvious, they're common sense, and you want the Manchester United manager to be saying it, but it doesn't always come out. And I think with Solskjaer to be saying that when we're performing well is a rarity. We've probably not really seen that since the Sir Alex days. Mourinho may have said it, Van Gaal may have said it, Moyes may have said it. Well, Moyes was never on a good run, to be honest, was he? So he never said it. But to be saying it when we're on a good run from Solskjaer, I like that. And I do genuinely think that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the same as you and he's the same as me. He is passionate and he does want Manchester United to be where they need to be. The big question is he the man to take us there? We can have all the desire in the world. Like I say, you could play me up front tonight. I'd have all the desire in the world. I would bleed Manchester United. I would be absolutely running through brick walls, but I'd be absolute shit. And that's the truth. And you've got to combine that passion with ability. And we're hoping that Ole is going to do that, starting off with tonight. Talking about Angel Gomes, let's just talk about that. Harshit says it's 10 hours to kick off. Can't wait. Please smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. So, there's no news on Sancho today. Dave plays, thankfully. I don't really want to be talking about Sancho every other day, so I'm quite pleased that we're not talking about Sancho today. But we are going to talk about Angel Gomes. Some interesting things coming out about Angel Gomes. Obviously, there's the embargoed section of the press conference at 10:30 last night that comes out sort of 12 hours after the initial one. United always do a half and half thing. And what Ole had basically said about Gomes is that, and welcome to Ishmael, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. He basically said about Angel Gomes that you need to ask Angel why he's leaving Manchester United. And he went on to say that, you know, Angel's a fantastic lad. And if he does leave, I'll be following his career. If he stays, let's crack on and build a career here. So Ollie's saying all the right things, which I would expect him to say. And I would echo that. If Angel Gomes does go somewhere else, I'm not going to be one of these fans who are bitter and go, I hope he fails, he's shit. I hope he goes on and succeeds because again, it would make Manchester United have to reflect on what they do in the future. We're still not learning those lessons of Ander Herrera walking out the club for nothing. That happened over a year ago. Ander Herrera walked out for nothing. And no matter what you think about Ander Herrera, from a business point of view, that's shocking. We're a business, not a football club. It's something I say a lot, and it's something you lot say as well, and it's very correct. But we're not even even though we are run as a business and not a football club, we're not run well as a business. Whatever you think about Ander Herrera, he was worth between 20 and 30 million pounds, and he walked out the door for nothing because we let contracts run down. So if Angel Gomes goes again and goes and does well, he's gone for nothing. Even the financial side of it is a joke, because we could have got 15 million, 10 million for Angel Gomes if he wanted to go. So it's money walking out the door again, which no one's mentioned. So United need to start learning from this, and they're still very slow to learn on how you deal with contracts. Look, if a player goes, a player goes. If you don't want a player here and they go, that's great, but you should still have them under contract to sell them. I've got no problem with people saying Angel Gomes is crap, let him go. But we're letting him go for nothing. We're letting him go for nothing, and people are defending that decision. Even though Solskjaer wants him to stay, people are still saying, oh, it's right that he goes. We want him to stay, but some fans are like, oh, it doesn't matter, let him go. But on the most basic level, forget his ability. We're letting a valuable player go for nothing. A player that we've put money into for years through the youth setup, we're letting him go for nothing. And even if we got 10 million for him, it's still 10 million. And that's why that's got to stop. But furthering the Angel Gomes story, Solskjaer basically said he's a nice lad, but people around him obviously want something different. There's a feeling that Manchester United offered him a generous contract, and he's refusing it because of actual game time. The lack of game time he's had over the last 12 months is apparently the reason Angel Gomes will leave. It's nothing to do with the financial side of it, which is what I was talking about yesterday. So if that's true, and he is going to leave because of a lack of game time, then that is quite interesting. But it's also interesting that in The Athletic, Laurie Whitwell, as the Manchester United correspondent, has come out and said that there's a feeling that Gomes hasn't done enough in the opportunities he's been given to warrant more game time, which I find weird, strange. And I know Manchester United will PR spin things. That's what they do. And I'm not saying they've done it here, but it's odd. I think is this been planted out there to feed into what we saw yesterday with some fans who are like, oh, get rid of him, he's not good enough. It muddies the waters of the truth. The truth is, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted him to stay. So why are we now putting a story out saying that he hadn't done enough? It's almost like saying we decided to let him go when we know that's not true. We know we want him to stay. Ollie said he wants him to stay. So why is the story that he's not done enough to play games there when we want him to stay? And ultimately, you know what I'm going to say. You know where I'm going to go with this. What opportunities, says Jeremy Johnson. Exactly. How can a story be put out there by a credible journalist that the feeling is that Angel Gomes didn't do enough with his opportunities to warrant a first team place? We've got eyes. Manchester United fans have got eyes. There has to be a response to that. You can't just sit there and go, oh, that's a fair statement. It can't be a fair statement because I think Angel Gomes has probably started 3 games this season. I guarantee they're probably all in meaningless Europa League games with a load of shit players. Lingard, Pereira, Mata have started and played numerous games with our first team, and that's the thing for me. Bruno played crap on Saturday with a team for an hour with our reserves, and that has a massive impact on you. We've played Angel Gomes in teams that have got Tahith Chong in it, our reserves. So not only has he got to... I've seen this for years and years. The Beckhams, the Scholes, the Rashfords, they come into the first team and they play with first team players, and it makes their job a lot easier because the rest of the team are settled. Angel Gomes has been given next to no chances in reserve sides, mainly, and he's had nowhere near the opportunities of an Andreas Pereira or a Jesse Lingard, who are established, expensive professional footballers within our club who've performed badly. And yet you'll get somebody saying, well, he's probably underperformed in training. But Lingard and Pereira have performed badly on the pitch. Why has he not been given an opportunity? So for me, I don't agree with that. Some people will agree with that as a reasoning. I don't think he's been given opportunities at all. And I think ultimately, if that's the reason why he's going to go, you can't really knock it. You can't really knock it. Mark, do we stand a chance of getting Sane, says Zane B? No. No. Man City wouldn't sell us. He's got a year left on his contract. I don't think he'll see the last year out. And I think he will go to Bayern Munich. So that's a no for me. Today is an interesting day, though. It is the last day for Angel... and apparently, Laurie Whitwell did say Angel Gomes has already said his goodbyes. Yesterday was the last day of training at Carrington because we've got a game today. They're off to Brighton. So Angel Gomes has said his goodbyes. There won't be a coming back. I mean, look, he might sign the contract today. I really hope he does. But it's not looking... It's looking like Angel Gomes goes. And where he goes is going to be interesting. They're saying that Chelsea has actually been over-exaggerated that he's going to go to Chelsea. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I actually think Angel Gomes, as mad as it sounds, and I don't know whether they would do the deal, but I personally think Barcelona would be perfect for him. That sort of, that sort of a scenario. He's that sort of a technical player. I'd be surprised if Barcelona did go for him, but he is free at the end of the day, and they might do. Mark, can you see Gomes being Pogba 2.0, him leaving and flourishing at another top club? I'm worried that it could happen. He's so gifted, says Trent Singh. I would be surprised if he did what Pogba did. Pogba went to Juventus and was like, won titles and was fantastic and was a fundamental part of that as a young player. I don't think Angel Gomes is going to do that. I think if Angel Gomes went to Barcelona and played 20 games next season and was fantastic, and they won La Liga, I think that would absolutely bite Solskjaer and the club on the backside big time. Probably Solskjaer more, because if it's not about the money, it's about the lack of game time, and we would forever be saying, this player was in our club when we were playing Lingard and Pereira as number 10, and look at what he's doing now at Barcelona. That will be the story, and it will be the right story. I want Gomes to do well. I don't really want him to go and be a world beater, because if he does that, it will always be in my head, why did you never give him the chances you gave players that weren't good enough? And I think that's why Gomes is thinking about going, or he's going to go as well. Would you get Redmond over Sancho if we can't get him? Says Philip Retton. What? The one from bloody Southampton? No way. But today is the final day of loan deals as well. So Smalling at Roma, Sanchez at Inter, Dean Henderson at Sheffield United. Would have been a lot of players coming back. I think all of them have extended. I don't think there's anybody coming back. I know Henderson's staying at Sheffield United. And I think that obviously Inter will keep Sanchez and Roma will keep Smalling. Although there is talk that they will come back at the end of July because they don't want them playing Europa League football for whatever reason. So we'll see what happens with that. Sancho to Manchester United in your dreams, Mark, says Haslam. Well, we'll see what happens on that. I'm very confident that we'll sign Jadon Sancho, and I'm very confident that we're going to get top 4. So, look, people seem to think I'm going to be wrong about that. I'm not going to change it because of a super chat. I think we will get Sancho, and I think we will get. I'm very, very, very confident we'll get top 4. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I know we're walking on thin ice, and that thin ice is tonight against Brighton and every other Premier League game. We've got to keep on winning, but. And this is for me. I mean, I've seen a few people talking today about how Bruno Fernandes shouldn't play tonight because he's tired, and they should play Fred and Pogba and Matic. And I'm like, no, Bruno Fernandes has got to play tonight. If Ollie starts messing around with the team because people are tired or whatever, I just don't see that happening. And he said it himself in the press conference as well. He said, if you're a Manchester United player, you've got to expect to play 60 games a season. Playing one game after the other, 2 times, 3 times a week is what you do at Manchester United. I haven't got much time for people who say, they've had 24 hours more rest than you. It's Manchester United, get on with it. And again, strong statements from Ollie there. And I think he's right. But look, you know what? He's going to make mistakes. I've always said this. He's an inexperienced, naive manager at the top level. People take this wrongly. I said when we took Ollie as the manager, all those, Ollie's at the wheel time, I did say it, and the videos will be there. We're going to have to learn on the job with Carrick and Solskjaer and McKenna because they're so inexperienced at this. They've not had 4 or 5 years at an Everton or anything like that, or an Aberdeen like Sir Alex Ferguson did. He's coming in from Mulder and relegation from Cardiff. He hasn't got the experience for the enormity of this job. So he will make mistakes because there's so much to do and so much to learn. And you've got to take those mistakes. They will be disappointing, but you've got to take them. I think in relation to bad results, they need to stop now. He's had enough of those, and we need some consistency, and I think Ollie would agree with that. But the Gomes thing, as infuriating as it could turn out to be, it's a mistake, and people will make mistakes, and you have to own those mistakes. But what we're looking for, Ollie, now, over the next sort of year is consistency and less mistakes. And I think we are getting to that point. And eventually he will not be an inexperienced, naive manager. I think, halfway through next season, I don't want to be using that anymore. Because I think after 2 years, by Christmas time, 2 years is a long time in management. A lot of managers don't manage for 2 years. So I think we're coming towards the end of that inexperience and naivety from Ollie now. And I think he is starting to become what he can become. Whether that's good enough or not, we'll see. But I certainly think, look, there's going to be big mistakes. You can't keep, flogging him for it. As I said, after the Burnley game, I was like, I don't see how this guy stays in a job. I think he's got to go. Then Bruno comes in and you're like, well, that's the player we should have got in the summer. I'm interested again. What can he do with that player? And we've improved. And I think a lot of United fans feel that. So, look, Gomes going because he didn't get game time. We know that's on Solskjaer and the coaching staff. And we know that could bite him in the arse next season. But I think if Gomes goes and more importantly, he removes Lingard and Pereira from the team, I think if I said to you, do you want Gomes to stay but Lingard and Pereira stay? Or do you want Gomes to go and Lingard and Pereira go? I know it's a hypothetical scenario, but you know what? I would sacrifice Gomes leaving the club if Lingard and Pereira go as well. Because I think they are the reason Gomes hasn't had game time. And they are the reason we struggle. Because my fear over the next few games is that there'll be a game where it's quite tight. We'll bring Pereira on or Lingard on and they'll score a goal and everyone will be going, yeah, they're really important. They've got a valuable part to play at the club, even though they haven't. And that goal will be valuable, but they haven't. You can't trust those players. They're not good enough. So it takes us back to people like Grealish. Ajax coach said that Van der Beek could leave next season. Yep, we've spoke about that, Abadab, thank you. And Bay should be given the centre-back place. We need the pace, says Matthew Smith. I'm not totally made up on Eric Bay at the moment. I've got to be honest. I'm not as bad as Ricky, but I'm not totally made up on the Eric Bailly as a Manchester United centre back at the moment. He does some weird things. I'm not saying that. Look, Fred took a few times to get used to it, but at the moment I think Lindelof's probably the right decision. I just wish Twansebi could get fit because I really feel that Solskjaer is looking at Twansebi as the centre-back partner for Harry Maguire, but he may well not be the person because of injuries. I think it's a shame. Mark would rather sign Ndidi or Van der Beek, says Kobe. I think I'd rather get Ndidi because I think a centre defensive midfielder is very important, but United aren't going to do that. Is there any chance Gomes will stay? Just Abdul. I don't know. I think that no, I don't think there is. Never say never, but I don't think that there is. No. I think what the interesting thing with the Gomes thing is why was the stories floating around that he was going to sign a new contract? Where was that coming from? Because it was very clear that he wasn't going to sign a new contract. I mean, if he's leaving for game time, he's been annoyed about that for a long time. And the interesting thing is, and I said this on a video probably 4 months ago, in January, I was told, and I mentioned it on the video, that Angel Gomes would not stay at United unless Solskjaer left because he was absolutely pissed off at the lack of game time he was getting. And I was like, phew. I said it on the videos at the time and I've said it a few times, but even at the time I was like, I doubt Gomes feels like that about Solskjaer because he'll know him from like being at the club as a young player, and Solskjaer's a likeable guy, and I can't imagine that. But it was around January when there was talk of dressing room unrest and stuff, and I just wonder how true was that story, which I sort of dismissed and thought that's a load of crap. I wonder if there was anything in that. I wonder if Gomes was like, if Solskjaer's going to be staying, I'm off because he's just not, he's not the manager for me. I don't know. Maybe there was something in it. We really need to move Lingard, Pereira, Rojo and Jones. Should we keep Smalling given that we are thin on the centre-backs, as Mojo? I think Smalling will want to move as well. This news about Grealish is exciting. We are a Bruno or Pogba injury away from collapsing. Would be a very nice signing, says Connor Brooks. Thanks for the super chat. We have hit 725,000 subscribers. We hit it last night as well. Thank you everyone who is subscribing to the channel. And remember, we have got a watch along for you tonight. We'll be live at around 7 o'clock with the team news, and then all the way through to full time. 3 points hopefully for United. Fan cams will be after that as well. Match reaction. But we have got a Flex and Rant show coming up at 1 o'clock because it is Tuesday as well. Greenwood's going to be a world star, says Be Fearless. And if he does come back in July, what would you do with Chris Smalling, says Same B? I mean, look, Smalling would be a valuable player for United. I don't think he can play in the Europa League in August anyway, because I imagine he's cup tied. So for Smalling to play for United again, he'd have to be part of the team next season. And I don't know what that would mean, whether that would happen. I think Smalling wants to play first team football, and I don't think we can offer that. So I don't think that would happen. Just on a topical thing, Leicester in this country is sort of going into lockdown as a city because they're getting quite a lot of cases of coronavirus again. So just keep an eye on that. It would be bloody typical, wouldn't it, that we bring the Premier League back for about a handful of games so Liverpool can win the league and then it gets bloody cancelled. Because we're still not in the top 4 positions, and I don't think we get into the top 4 till the end of July. So I'm sort of keeping an eye on that, thinking there better not be another bloody spike that shuts the football down again and we still don't get top 4, because momentum-wise, I think we're definitely going to get it, but I don't think we're going to get top 4 until, you know, we play Leicester, because that's 3 points we're going to need. But keep an eye on that one. We'll wait and see. And if you want to watch my Manchester United FIFA career mode, it's my very last episode, episode 95. I won the league yesterday for the first time in 6 seasons. Champions League final and FA Cup final today, 2:30 on Mark Goldbridge That's Football. Tune in for a bit of pre-match fun. And thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.